This is perfect for beginners. So if you're just starting out with sewing, come along and have a look. I'm going to show you how to make a kimono jacket in just 30 minutes. Get the pattern, it's in the link in the description below. Let's go and make a kimono jacket in under 30 minutes. This is the fabric we're using today. It's called Matelasse. It's a stunning textile. You might know it as a cotton jacquard or a jacquard fabric. It has an incredibly luxurious feel to it and the puffy texture. I'll bring it right up close so you can see. If I cover, there we go. You can see how all the motifs on this are raised, and that leads back to its name. Matelasse is French for mattress. What it means is padded, quilted or cushioned, and that's what happens during the construction of this textile. They make a jacquard, so they're weaving two fabrics together at once. And then in between the two fabrics, there's something called a puff yarn, which is woven between and connects the two of them. After this comes off the loom, that puff yarn is shrunk, and what that does is makes the motifs in this puff up, and that's how you get this raised effect that looks like really intricate and heavy embroidery, but it's actually woven into the jacquard of the fabric. It's absolutely fantastic. If you're using one of my 30-minute patterns, there's a few of them now as well. Have a look, they're in the description below. You can really elevate what you're making by using a fabric like this. This is inexpensive and easily found. You can find it online everywhere. Look for Matelasse, or write it down here so you can see how to spell it. Or look for a cotton jacquard, something like that, and you'll be able to find this. And I'll show you, you can see here the structure of this fabric. So it's inexpensive, but it has the structure of a taffeta or a gaza, or something that's been backed with an organza, really luxury haute couture feeling fabric. It's even got that crunch that you get when you use silks together. So it's a fantastic way to get this 30-minute pattern and make something truly special that has structure and gravitas to it. So I've got 2 meters 40 of this, which is 2.6 yards, and it's 150 centimeters wide, which is 60 inches. That's going to make me a beautiful kimono jacket or kimono cardigan. And you can make one too. It's going to take 30 minutes. It's probably going to take a little bit less than that. This is a really simple, great way to get into making kimono and have a beautiful kimono style jacket in your closet within 30 minutes. This is perfect for all levels of sewing. So if you're a beginner, come along. It's really simple. We've got some great straight seams and big straight cuts. There's nothing too intricate to do, and there's not a lot of fitting, which is one of the hardest parts of making garments. This is an easy fit garment that fits a lot of sizes. There's a size chart in the pattern, and this garment fits a lot of sizes. So you don't have to be as stringent with your measurements. You're just finding a general size and then making something for that. It wraps around you, it cocoons you, it's very comfortable and very easy to make. So come along, we've got 30 minutes, we're gonna make a beautiful kimono jacket, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. Here is our fabric. You saw me, I just folded in half along the selvages. So these are the edges of the fabric. This is the 60 inches across here, and here is the start and the end of my fabric. So these are open ends, and along the top here, that is folded over. So you've got selvages running along here. So you've folded it in half lengthways. Now what you do is you want to bring both selvages together. So you're folding it in half across the length like this. And so you should have 4 corners that you match up, and make sure you've got it all lovely and straight. Give it a good thwack to make sure it's all straight like that. And now we'll take the measurements and start cutting. So we've folded the fabric in 4. You can see there. Down here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 corners, and that is the hem of your jacket down there. So all the raw edges are down that side. Along here I have selvages, along here I have just a big fold, and of course the point where all the folds come from. So this will be your neck And over here is your sleeves and where your arms come out. And then down there is the side of your jacket. Here we make a few easy measurements and then get to cutting. We'll start with the neck hole. So up here on the top corner where there is a point and there are no openings, there's no loops like this or corners like that. This is the top point. This is your neck. We measure 4 inches across the top of the jacket and 2 inches down the side of the jacket. Then we come across to the other side. So there's 2 loops here, 2 folds coming up. This is where your arms will come out and we're going to measure how far the sleeves come down. Of course, you can change this if you want to have shorter sleeves or longer sleeves. And what I talk about that is the lengths from your wrist down to here. So they're going to come out this way, but what we're measuring right now is down this part, which is down here, how far out they'll stick. And they'll be about this long or wide, depending on how you describe your sleeves. So they're about 50 centimeters or 20 inches down the side here. Now you come back up to the top, and what we're going to do is square off where the sleeve goes. So come across these 2 folds and measure in 12 inches or 30 centimeters. Do the same measurement from the 20-inch or 50 centimeter mark. To make sure that's in the right spot, I'm going to re-measure from the other 12-inch mark and make sure that this is nice and square. So now I've found this square point in the middle here. I'm going to join that up with a nice straight line and then continue to measure 12 inches or 30 centimeters down to the hem, and then I'll make a big straight line down there. And this is your side seam that you're measuring for right now. Of course, you can move these wherever you want. You can make the sleeves narrower or shorter, so you can make them less long or longer. You can make them far longer if you want. You can also move the side seam out to make the garment accommodate a larger fit. It's so easy to change this pattern to fit you specifically. The best thing about the pattern is it's a one size fits most pattern. So you're probably going to fit what we're making here. Now I join these 3 up with a big straight line. So you can see there we've got the side seam and the sleeve defined. I'm going to cut that out and we'll get to making the front opening. So you should end up with 4 pieces like this. These are fantastic. You can make pockets, you can make anything you want with them. They're absolutely fantastic. And if you don't use them on your 30-minute kimono, you can use them for all other patterns. These are big rectangles and there are 4 of them that will be very useful for other sewing projects. So I'm going to put them to the side. Before you open your jacket, mark the center back neck. You've got a fold there to follow and just put a nice big mark in. We're on the wrong side of the fabric, and do it at the center back of the hem as well. And this will help you find your front opening by marking the back. And you'll see why in a second. And now we open the whole thing up. So here I have my sleeves and the body shooting down there. And the reason we marked the center back neck and the center of the hem is so we can find the center front opening, and we're going to cut down just 1 layer down the front. If you folded a crease down the center of your fabric, that makes it a lot easier because you have a line to follow. But if you're off the center of your fabric or something, you can always double check it by marking the center of your neckline and the center of your hem and then joining those 2 lines up, and we'll cut straight down them. What we're creating is a V shape to go down to the center front, so it will still overlap but have a lovely V, a bit like this here. It's all modeled on the kimono, and what we're trying to create is this V shape and crossover at the front. So I'm going to come down and square off on the center line with the underarms. Line it up with the bottom of the sleeves, come across and put a mark in the center. Then what you do is you join this center mark with the neckline up the top here, and you do the same for the other side. I find the bottom of the sleeves and the center of the garment, and I put a mark there, and it's from here, I'll then make a diagonal line straight up to the very side of the neckline here. And that is the cutting done. You can see we've got the makings of an absolutely beautiful jacket. Now what we have to do is go in and sew the thing together. It really is this fast. It's so quick. We are sewing up the side seams, across the bottom of the sleeves. We're gonna finish the neckline and the front. Then we're gonna do some cuffs and we're gonna do a hem, and you're all set to go. Let's get sewing. Now, what you have here in technical construction terms is called a kimono sleeve. So we've just finished that sleeve, and you can see it's all sitting there beautifully. And I haven't pressed this just yet because what I need to do first is clip in to this corner. There's the sleeve, there's the side seam going down there. What we need to do is come in and clip right into the stitching so we relieve the stress on the corner as it passes here. This is different because this is a Japanese kimono sleeve, because it's on a Japanese kimono. This is a technical kimono sleeve. What that means is that the sleeve is part of the bodice. It's part of the whole garment. It's not set in as it is on other garments or sleeves on regular, like a t-shirt or a jumper or a business shirt. You sew the sleeve to the bodice. That's called set in. This is a kimono sleeve, it's inset. Very confusing, but it's quite easy to work out because it just means that there's no seam to connect the sleeve to the body. The seam is just part of the garment. And because of that, and we've got a sharp corner here, what you need to do is clip in to then release that and create ease. Then the corner seam won't pull and create tucks and pleats that come up and have lots of bulkiness. It's just going to release that and let it ease. I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I'll come in nice and close here and I cut right in. I'm using my snips and I just nip in straight to that corner, and I've reinforced that corner with just 1/2 inch of stitching either side of it. I've come back in with the sewing machine. I've done 1/2 inch, 1 centimeter of stitching just to reinforce it a little bit, and then I've clipped in, and so now, yeah, you can see that there. Oh, see, there you go. So now it's got that ease, and if I just hold it like this, the whole thing will fall straight, whereas before it will buckle a bit more. And once you've done this, then you can go on, we go and press, and then we finish our seam. So whether you're overlocking, you could be binding, overcasting, anything you want to do, that is what you do. That's what they do in haute couture as well. This is how you deal with a technical kimono sleeve. And that's why this is called a kimono jacket, because it's got kimono sleeves. I'm going to go and press this, and I'm going to show you how I press it, because how you press it is important as well. You want to get this ease into the jacket now. We're just making sure that everything moves beautifully. The seams have ease and can move without bulk. Now you turn the neckline. Doing a double turn on your neckline, a narrow hem if you like to think of it that way. So we're turning it once, and you can sew it down or you can press it down, and then you turn it again, and then you sew that down. So you can either do 1 or 2 passes. You might find it easier to do 2 passes. So you hold down one, especially around the curve, because you're coming around a curve and having to hold this back. You can clip in just by a couple of millimeters to help the curve turn back like that and then go around it. But all you're doing is managing that curve, and then the other thing to think about is after the curve you've got a diagonal, and on a diagonal piece of fabric the fabric is off grain, so you have the straight of grain and you have the cross grain. With a non-stretch fabric, those two stay in place, they're quite strong. It's when you turn off grain, so you've got the bias, which is exactly 45 degrees off grain, exactly halfway, and anything from straight or cross to the bias and the bias stretch, because that's the way fabric works. It goes straight, cross, and then if you come off it, that's when it starts to stretch. So you just have to be careful as you come down this diagonal part, and then you'll get to the vertical for the front opening. But as you come down the diagonal, just work it through the machine, but just be very gentle with it. Don't pull it or anything like that, otherwise it will stretch, and then you'll have a sort of a warped neckline. So down across here will warp a little bit. If you're really concerned, you can grab a strip of just cotton or seam tape, or just a thin strip of cotton, the width of a finger. You just put that straight on to the diagonal or the curved edge and you sew that in place. That will stabilize the fabric, and then when you turn it, you don't need to worry as much about stretching it because you've got something that's on the straight of grain running down that diagonal. So that's called stabilizing a seam, and you can do that with just a piece of basic cotton. You just cut it on the straight. Another great thing to use for that, if you don't have seam tape or just little strips of cotton, is selvage. Always keep your selvages from other fabrics. They're very useful in this case to stabilize fabric and help things just hold when you need them to. Best practice when doing this is to start at the center back and then work down one side, then come back to the center back and work down the other. That way, if you make a mistake, you've only done one side of it, but also it means the whole garment doesn't pull as you come around one side. So it just makes it it's a bit better practice in doing this. Another great way to finish this raw edge is to bind it. If you have some bias binding, whiz that around and that will look beautiful. The neckline is finished. Absolutely beautiful. Like that, nice and pressed. And what I've done is, while I was pressing that, I've pressed back my cuffs. So I've done a double turn here. You can see I've pressed it back 1 centimeter or half an inch, and then about 3 centimeters, which is about 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches. But that again is up to you. There's in the pattern it tells you can really adjust the garment. So if you want to make the sleeves longer on yourself, if you want to make them come down your arm more, you make a narrower cuff, and if you want to make them come back up your arm a bit, you make a deeper cuff, and that's how you adjust the sleeves. So simple. While I did that, I also pressed the hem, and again it's the same principle. So I did a beautiful, I like a nice thick hem like that. Do you see? Yeah, there you go. You can see the difference there. And I've done a double turn, so it's just a double turn hem. And you can make this is where you adjust the length of your kimono jacket. You make the hem deeper if you want it to be shorter, and you can make the hem narrower if you want it to be longer. And then that's about deciding how you're going to wear this, what things you're going to wear it with, and how long you want to make the jacket. This will make a jacket that falls to just sort of beyond the knee for most people. It's about 120 centimeters or 4 feet from the shoulder down to, which goes beyond the knee. It's sort of midi length, I suppose you'd call it, but it's a jacket, so it's not about dresses. So it's really good. It will look lovely with a regular dress that falls to the knee because it falls just below it. And if you've got a really long dress, then it's nice to have that hem above. And of course you can make a really beautiful, long kimono jacket just by buying more fabric and making the entire jacket longer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the cuffs and the hems down just like that, with a nice edge stitch just along the edge of that. And we're done. And here she is. Isn't that just beautiful? Can you see the fabric with the light? Isn't that amazing? All done in 30 minutes. It looks incredible. Look at these sleeves as well. So this is the 20-inch or 50 centimeter sleeve. It's really got that sort of 1920s, early 20th century line to it. And it's a sleeve about as wide as this. So this is a Hitoi kimono that I've made, and it's about the same length as these sleeves. And of course, if you wanted them shorter, you can do that. There's something about the grace of these enormous sleeves. They're so beautiful. They go great with the other 30-minute sewing patterns that I've got. You can get linked down below. It does just look incredible, doesn't it? It's so beautiful. And in this rich Matelasse fabric, that really beautiful thick jacquard, it comes across completely differently to if you made this out of a cotton, something like a gabardine that you would make a trench coat out of. It's going to look completely different to this. When you start playing with knits and different weaves or stretches, it becomes a different garment altogether. You can see how it holds its shape here. The The sleeves have got these beautiful sort of diamond shape to them. But once you put a stretch fabric or a much looser fabric or a lighter fabric to this, everything will fall a lot more and it becomes a lot more swishy and drapey. This is all about impact. This is about making something really, really extravagant, rich looking, and it really has done that. We've made a beautiful coat. I'm Kimono Alex from House of Kimono. Follow me for everything about kimono.